Feeling trapped by all the stuff? Can't keep up? No time to think or plan? Has the rush and gush of modern life got you trapped?
Slow is the new fast. Slow is the new fast.
Slow is the new fast.
Set your coordinates. It's Mach 0, making time for life, one thing at a time. With your host, the VIP coach, John Davidson.
Hi, this is JD, and you're listening to the VIP Coach. This is the Mach 0 show, making time for life, one thing at a time. And you showed up today. You chose to be here because you are comfortable enough with your own ignorance. You know that you need help. And this is a sign of your experience, that as you have grown as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, more and more as you've gone out in the marketplace and you've gotten the deal, you've gotten the check, you've gotten more experience. And all of your habits and all of your support system and all of your relationships and your value and your business model pretty much lock you in at a certain size check that you can go out in the marketplace and get. And so what would it mean to you if you could go to another level? If you could go to another size check, what would that earning power mean to you? You're listening to the Mach 0 show because things have gotten complex, that you've become frustrated because you can't get to anything that's truly important to you. You've gotten caught in the vortex of owning a job instead of owning a business. Although you'd like to have all the confidence and all the freedom and all the earning power, you just can't get to it. You can't cross the next level because you don't want to let go of your status, your security, and your safety to the degree that you're ready to live in a new house of earnings, a new house of wealth, and a new house of personal mastery. So we have a coach program called the VIP Coach, and we help these leaders take it to the next level. We help them harvest their creative freedom, help the world see the opportunity of their gifts, and do that on purpose. Instead of creating companies, they create callings. They want to create a unified team. They want to insulate themselves from some of the most dreadful and disastrous tasks that drag down their energy. They want to build a life that matters to them, not only in business, but they also want to spend their time on things in their life plan that do matter. They want to come from being a creator in their life. They want to create their life as art. And so my invitation to you in following our show and following what we talk about as the VIP Coach community, as the Mach 0 community, is that you are seeking lifestyle, you're seeking growth, and you're seeking freedom. You got into your business because you wanted to be free. You wanted the self-expression of bringing something to the world that no one else can. And you have all these sacred projects that are present inside of you. You have it. It's in there. And you want to bring them to the surface. And you want to find a way to get to it. You want to be able to think and plan and step back and reflect, to be able to change your history. And ahead, be able to create significance, be able to create what matters to you and make a difference by using your gifts in the world and being useful, by being who you are, by being more of yourself and aligning what your actions and decisions are with your truest work. Does this sound familiar to you? Is this kind of the direction that you're looking in? Is it's not just about a business and making a whole bunch of money, but it's about doing a lot of good in the world. It's about expressing the things that you behold sacred inside of you, what I call creative value. And then creative purpose is listening to that larger will, that larger kind of macro voice, the collective spirit, the something that's kind of standing in need of you as a leader, and you have to follow it. You have to set foot into that territory fearlessly. So by combining your creative freedom with some creative value and creative purpose, and having some financial independence to innovate, hire people around you, put them into their most personal gifts and unique abilities, you develop a life you love. So one of the ways that you do that, one of the most important ways that you get to this life that you love, has to do with your habits. Specifically, your habits in the morning when you wake up and your habits when you go to sleep. Because what you do in the day and what you do the following day totally depends on the quality of your actions and decisions in the morning, and it depends on what you do the night before. Isn't it funny that when you're tired, everyone else gets stupid? I've asked clients on and on and on. Most of them are underslept. They sleep 6 hours a night, but they needed 8 hours. Why do they do this? Well, maybe they have a busy mind, or they have a lot of activities that they're doing at night, or bottom line, they just like to stay up and numb themselves watching TV shows, and they don't have a plan. And so they drift off whenever they drift off, or they drink too much coffee in the day and they can't get their head down. Either way, people are underslept, and this negates your capacity. Think about it. Your energy, your quantity of energy is your health. Health means whole. And one of the biggest factors in your health is your ability to rest and relax. So, when you go to bed at night, here are a couple of rituals that I'd like you to consider. Start unplugging 1 hour before you decide when you're going to hit the pillow. Notice what I just said. Two things. Starting to unplug, and it's based on a decision as to when you're going to go to bed. You probably haven't decided every night, routinely, when you're going to be going to bed. And so your body has developed an unpredictable rhythm. And this is what limits your restfulness. Remember that sleep, the purpose of sleep is like a renewal. We take out the garbage. All through the day, we make observations, we assimilate information, we make comparisons to what we see versus what we know. We're analyzing, and our brain knows that it has a limited amount of storage. We have a certain amount of hard drive that we can occupy for what we take in. What our sleeping does, it's like a garbage man. It takes out the stuff that we don't need, that we're not going to use, and then it stores up all the little memory bites in the form of concepts and the forms of knowledge bites so that we can pack in and be able to understand, add meaning to the things that are coming in the future. Our brain is a pack rat. But we try to efficiently store things by using sleep as a form of taking the stuff out that we don't need, and we're selective. We say, well, I'll keep that, but I'll get rid of this. You need to give yourself that process, and the ample amount of time is 7 to 8 hours per night. You can function on 4 hours, but you can't do it consistently. So maybe one night you blow it, or one night you have a compromise, or you have an extra commitment you need to use. Well, great. You sleep 4 hours. You can still work through the next day. You're going to have to use some discipline. You're going to have to use some extra effort, but your brain can function on 4 hours. But at best, to really get the best quantity of energy that you need to apply to your work, to apply to all the areas of your life plan, you need to concentrate on getting good quality sleep. So decide on the hour that you're going to go to bed. Now, the hour before then is a critical time period. If you sit down and watch television, that's like training your mind for distractibility. That's like putting your mind into a gear where it's not going to use sleep at its best. So turn the tube off. Just turn the TV off. Give the clicker to your wife. Make it a point to turn it off. Record any TV shows if they're at that hour. Watch them later. But maybe make a conscious choice to do something different 1 hour before. And this 1 hour before is like foreplay. It's something that you do before sleep. So set up some rituals. Some individuals like to do a meditation. They quiet themselves down. They do some centered breathing. They find a place in their abode, their home, and they quiet down for, let's say, 15 to 30 minutes. And maybe that reflection process is just to kind of gather what went into you that day. So you might start off with some breathing. You focus on some deliberate, slow, focused, diaphragmatic breathing. You focus on breathing in your tummy. You let your tummy flow out and then come in when you take your in-breath and then your out-breath. And maybe as you do that, as you breathe in, you say, yes. And as you breathe out, you say internally, thank you. Because the in-breath is what you're taking in, new life, new breath. And then when you're breathing out, you're saying thank you. You're saying thank you, thank you, thank you for your departure. In and then out. And then as you reflect, I'd like you to consider 4 questions. Number 1, what was it that inspired me today? And as you inquire into the question, you bring it a blank canvas and just let the question kind of quell and open up like a package. Don't force it. Don't try to manufacture anything. Just stay with the question long enough until it maybe reveals a couple of insights. And as you're scanning the day, ask yourself, what was the content or subject matter that inspired me today? Inspired, what brought me into spirit? What made me feel spirited at the deepest level? What grounded me in spirit? So maybe this is something that happened where someone that you met, someone, maybe a stranger you didn't know, was doing something and it caught you by surprise, and you were inspired by something you did. Or maybe someone said something, or maybe someone took action on something and they inspired you. Maybe you saw something take place. But take notice. Pay attention to what you pay attention to. Write that down. Think of the one thing that inspired you most today. Question number 2. What was it that challenged me today beyond the familiar? What challenged me today beyond the familiar? So these are qualities that went ahead in your day that you were not expecting. These were qualities that maybe did not agree or conform with the way that you see the world or the way that you see yourself. Because you have beliefs and you have concepts that you try to edit reality with, these are kind of the disconfirming qualities that took place in the day. These were the situations that maybe challenged you to grow or move beyond your current level of knowledge or knowing or understanding. These were the invitations that challenge you to kind of rethink something, to go outside your familiar, to go beyond what you know. And then write down your answer. Again, wait, relax into the question, relax into the inquiry, and let it kind of open up for you. And if nothing's there, then just move on. Question number 3. What was it that touched me or moved me today? This is a question about the open heart. Did you pay attention? Are you in a state of gratitude in appreciating some of the entries into the day that may have touched you, but you hadn't really acknowledged it? You hadn't actually completed that process of receiving something that had heart or meaning for you. This is important because it allows you to experience the quality of heart that you have, to be appreciative of qualities in your life that may have gone into you that you hadn't fully assimilated. And so again, what was it that had heart or meaning for me today? And then the last question is, what was it that amazed me or surprised me today? What jumped out at you? What was something that suddenly had shock to your system? Something that jumped out at you that you didn't expect? And so reflect on that question. What was it that amazed me or surprised me? What challenged me beyond the familiar? What was it that inspired me, brought me into spirit? And what was it that had heart or meaning for me today? Most of the time, because of what we're doing in our rituals, we're on our way somewhere or we're occupied by our habitual actions that we move right past these moments of reflection where we can utilize the void or the space to just pull back and say, what was it that really was influencing me today? How did this day change me? How did I take this day in? This is such an important process because it allows you to integrate the day into who you are and where you're going. It's an important process to kind of stop the elevator and take a look at what's on this floor. What was it that really landed in your life? What was it that landed on your runway? So you don't just run right past it and say, well, I'm onward to the next day, I'm onward to the next day. That's kind of like blurry. That's murky. You're kind of spinning. You're moving from thing to thing. I had a client call that skimming. You're kind of skimming the peaks. You're going skim to skim to skim to skim to skim, bobbing along, instead of really getting into the valleys, not just the hills. So what was the day really for you? And being able to take in that day. Now, decide on a time when you're going to be getting up in the morning. Make a decision. Say, okay, I'm going to get up at 6 a.m. By deciding, you're ruling out other options. Remember, decision is like decide, homicide. You're murdering the alternative. So you're deciding. You're giving your brain good instructions. Look, we're deciding to get up at this time. And then set your alarm. Just that process of acknowledging that you are planning to get up at that time, your brain's computing, how many hours am I going to need to take rest for this person? How many resting moments am I going to need to give? So you might say, well, that's going to be 7.5 hours. Great. Just that decision of when I'm going to get up, when I'm going to go to bed, and then this process of reflection before you start to go to bed will make a major impact on your mood, make a major impact on your overall sense of living well and well-being, that you are attending directly to the experiences of your life. The present moment, what's currently occurring, the moment that you're in, is the only type of time that you have some control over. So you might as well make the most of it. Most of us are so much on the way somewhere or in our own concepts or in our own head or thinking about things or worrying or ruminating that that's what overtakes us like a cloud. And then we miss out on all these great moments to live. I can't help but think about, if tomorrow was my last day, would I even allow myself to be caught in all my delusions and illusions and contaminated thinking and worrying and ruminating? And if you are ruminating, ask yourself, what good will this do? If I'm worrying about something, would it be better off that I get a good night's sleep and have a better mind for this tomorrow to face the battle? Or should I be worrying about it all night, wake up tomorrow with no fuel, no batteries, my battery use is low, and then I have nothing to fight with? You know the answer. You'd be better to let go, cut loose, and sleep. If it's a real problem and you need to do something about it, then act on it, do something about it. But ruminating and worrying is just paralyzing. It's just dreadful for you to be going round and round, circling in your mind, not getting anywhere. Worrying doesn't do anything. So cutting loose of worry means being aware of the fact that you're worrying and just be with the worrying. It's just, Your mind is tending to worry because it wants to protect you from danger. Worrying is saying, I love myself enough because I don't want to hurt myself. Take that on the positive. Thank God you care about yourself enough to not hurt yourself, but leave it at just that. Don't be at issue with it. And then think about the outcome that you're trying to create, not the problem that you're trying to solve, but cutting through it all, ask yourself, what is the most important outcome that I'm wanting to create? What's my end goal? Have a place to go. That'll help you kind of synthesize from the options that you're presented what the best course of action might be. It'll help simplify your mind to get a clear picture of where you are now compared to wanting to be, and you'll have a next step or action from a good starting point. Sometimes navigating through the complexity means grounding yourself in just that, having a place to go, knowing where you are in relationship to it, and having a next step or action. Not too much action, but one next step or action that you can provoke a change and then be able to use the feedback after that action to be able to cycle that back into your next action. That's what the creative process is. So are you coming from creating or are you coming from reacting? Let's come from creating. Making these decisions about when to sleep, how long to sleep, and when you're going to wake up is awesome. And having that 1 hour beforehand to cut loose and reflect is just great. And then journal or write down your answers before that bedtime. And do that every night. Focus that like a habit so that you begin to embed that and entrench that and outgrow the past and give rise to a new set of habits. So build an evening ritual. Give some thought to what you want to create. Maybe the inner sketch or the state of mind that you want to create is the outcome that your evening ritual will serve. And then you start thinking about where you are, what you've been doing, good, bad, and ugly, and what would be the process to do service to the kind of state of mind or the kind of state you want to wake up with in the morning. Occupying more of an intention, more of an outcome focus in the state of mind you want to create or the way you want to wake up in the morning. Bottom line is they're all subject matter. They're end results that you seek to create. And when you're coming from really creating, you're creating your life as art. You can build it just this way. So we're going to take a break. I'll be right back.
It's Monday morning. I'm drained.
You've got mail.
Look at this. It's the Monday Advantage video. Yeah! Now I can get past the distractions and implement something new.
The Monday Advantage. It's that easy. Just subscribe free for a limited time at highlevelperformance.com. Every Monday, launch the week with fresh tools, giving you the right state of mind, focus, and confidence. See what becoming a gifted boss and serial creator is all about. Subscribe today at highlevelperformance.com. That's highlevelperformance.com. And start enjoying your Monday Advantage today. Having a life where you have the creative freedom to do what you love and to offer the world something that only you can bring to the table. That is the world of high-level performance with John Davidson. That is the world of radical creativity. That is the world that you can be a part of when you realize all that is holding you back is you. Begin the journey through one-on-one coaching that gives you the finesse for business and lifetime achievement. And find your place on the roadmap to high-level performance today. Visit highlevelperformance.com. From go time to slow time. Slow is the new fast. Mach 0, making time for life, one thing at a time. With VIP coach John Davidson.
We talked about the evening ritual in the first half of the show, but now let's walk through what a morning ritual might be for you. Well, so you get up at a programmed time. And that time, between the time that you wake up to the moment that you hit your business, the moment that you get into your performance, think about it like athletics. You're getting on the field. You're dressing up, you're putting on uniform, you're getting ready, you're psyched up, you're mentally ready, emotionally ready, spiritually ready, you know what your values are, what matters to you. And you also have a physical readiness. You are energized. You've had a good night's sleep. So what's the first thing that you do when you get up? And this is totally authentic. This is whatever works for you, but think about your end goal of your morning ritual. Because the first 90 minutes in the day are going to pretty much tell the tale of 80% of the remainder of the day. 80% of the day is going to depend on the small part of the day, the 20% of the day in the morning. So 80% of the day is going to depend on that 1 or 1.5 hours from the time you get up. You do if you're wanting to be fit, you do your fitness exercise. If it's something that you need to do, in service to your goal, it's better that you do it in the morning. So let's say it's a workout and you have a lot of resistance to working out. You need to walk, or maybe it's progressive resistance. You have some home gym equipment, or maybe it's a personal trainer. Do it in the morning because you don't have to fight yourself in the afternoon. You'll probably lose if you try to fight yourself in the afternoon, or you try to overcome some of your resistance. Because you've already given your energy to so many things, you just don't have a fighting chance to probably follow through on your goal-centered behavior. But in the morning is a great time to do and focus your goal-centered behavior. And so if it's in the area of your health, or maybe something emotional that you want to create with your spouse, I have one individual that likes to do 1/2 hour of sitting and having tea and having what he calls an associative talk with his wife. And that means an associative talk. That means that we're going to be intimate, not just in the physical intimacy, but they love open and honest communication about talking about what's important to them, talking about what's true for them, and just starting from being rooted in, foundationally, that emotional connection. And so once he puts that into play, okay, now that's a good place to start. It's a connection. It's harmonic for him. It tunes him. It tunes him like a piano fork. It tunes his quality of energy. I have another individual that likes to go to the gym first in the morning. That's what he does. Get out the door, get to the gym. That's what he does, works on his physical body. For him, it's like a meditation. He focuses on one thing. And by doing that one thing, you get it out of the way, and two is you kind of massage your mind by only having one thing to focus on, because you're about ready to go to a multiverse of different things. But you're using this as a muscle for your concentration. Meditation is also a great way to start, is having a progressive relaxation in the morning where you start by focusing on your feet and moving your way up your body by talking to certain parts of your body and telling it to relax, release, let go. Just by bringing your whole body-mind together is a very powerful thing. By acknowledging the presence of your body as a communicator. You're like an antenna. So breathing is a central place of focusing your concentration, being centered. In the martial arts, we call it moving from your one point, or your center of gravity, from which everything remains balanced, that no matter what shows up, you'll be able to tolerate it and work with it rather than against it. To commune with life instead of argue with life. I think meditation kind of softens your edges into the non-cooperative parts of life that just show up like a wild card. It stays true to the nature of life, that everything is changing. You are evolving. You can constantly count on changes. It's the only constant there is. Everything must change. So meditation allows you to be with life in real time, to practice being present to what wants to emerge. And so it gets you out of your thinking mind, your restless thinking mind of evaluating, analyzing, and filtering everything through it, to being more direct with your experience and just being present to the here and now. Even just starting with a blank canvas. Even just starting with nothing and just focusing on simple breathing, the most primal, basic unit of life, breathing. Taking in oxygen and then breathing out. This is very simple. It brings you back to the basics. Again, you may do this for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I like to do an hour. I like to do it lying down. You may like to do it sitting up. It's really up to you. It's your choice. And then have a place in the house where you do this, or go somewhere and do this. But the point is that you've thought through what this morning routine will be like. Now, you may have other loved ones that depend on you, so maybe you got to factor that in, preparing breakfast, or maybe transporting someone. Maybe you have to drop the kids off, things like that. But again, you're focusing on a routine. Does that mean it'll be the same way every single time? Well, your intention's that, but life doesn't always work that way. But at least that's what your orientation is to the creative, is that you choose to create a morning ritual to support the kind of day you want. Another thing that you might want to do before you get out the door is to identify the most important things in the day that you want to focus your attention on. I call this the Daily 6. So you itemize the 6 most important things that you would like to put your attention on and get done. Some of those things will be projects. There'll be multiple steps. So today you won't get it all done, but you're focusing on a task that supports that project. Not everything that the day will behold will be actually urgent. What you can do is control better proactively what is urgent and what's not by thinking things through. And if you have a lot of unfinished business, or you're log jammed on to-dos, if your backlist is really high, it may behoove you to help yourself have a whole cleanup day. Maybe the whole day is for cleanup. And if it's a money-making day, then just focus your attention on making money, and tomorrow you'll get to all the maintenance stuff. You need some sort of momentum. But thinking through in the beginning of the day, what's my theme for the day? Overall, what's the one thing, if I took everything else off the table, that I need to get done? What would be that one thing? And you're thinking about the backdrop of your goals. What's the most important thing downrange that tells me what my number one thing is today? And then as you're looking down in those ranges, you might look at various milestones. Like within the next 2 weeks, what's the one thing? And then kind of lining it up like the cue ball in a billiard game. What would support me in being where I want to be in the next 90 days? You think about the quarter. What are my top 6 things that I need to do today that are goal-centric? And at least 4 out of those 6 need to be directly connecting to your goals. If they are not, then you're playing more in a reactive response type orientation to life. You're probably not living by a life plan, but you are going with the flow. And underlying that is a deep sense of being powerless. I don't have the power to create what I want. Well, is that true? How do you know that's true? All that is a concept. That's a belief. It's a mirage. You can melt that away. You can evaporate that by taking a look at what's really true. Are you truly powerless? You may think you are, but the question is, what's the strategy that you use when you believe or you're governed by that thought? The strategy is to quit going towards what you want and make things hard for yourself. Or maybe you're not worthy of the things that you want, so you need to make up your day to be incredibly busy. You need to earn or deserve the things you desire. So you put things in your way as a means to feel better about yourself, that you deserve to have the things that you think are really special or the things that you truly aspire to create. But you can leave these out of the picture. You don't have to be at issue with these powerlessness beliefs or these worthiness beliefs. They are what they are, and they're in 95% of the cognition that I see and coach out there. So it's not about making that all go away. There's no pill. You can't just suddenly fire yourself or evict or try to make go away what it is that you think. You actually learn from it. You don't learn against it. You work with it. Like pain. You don't work against the pain. You work with the pain. Those aren't things that you were hoping for when you came into the world. Hey, I want to believe I'm powerless. You didn't order that up, but it's a result of you having experience. It's a result of you being in the past. But you can transcend that. You can transcend that by being in a creative orientation every day, where you are coming from being a creator every day. And that means you start the day with nothing. What do I want to create? Daily creating is a practice. It's a discipline. It means bringing something into being that didn't exist before. It's not like waking up and saying, I'm going to be daily reacting today. Well, you can respond better, but that's not creating. That's the orientation of the reactive, where circumstances are taking control. Instead, you take control. You be the predominant creative force in your life. You choose the subject matter that's important to you. You take on more of a quality view instead of a quantity view of the day. Sure, you have 24 hours. But what are you going to do with the time that you have? It's up to you. It's matter management. It's priority management. It's self-management. You have the same amount of time as everybody else. You can't have more time. But you can use the time meaningfully. Time is like a dimension. So what you say you can't do really means you won't do. See, I know that's true. Because if you dropped everything to take your child to the hospital, it's because that was the highest priority you had. You wouldn't say, I can't do that. You would allocate the necessary resources to do it. You would find a way to do it because in the hierarchy of importance, that's what matters most. So people often say, JD, I need to make life simple. I need to keep things simple. Well, keeping it simple doesn't mean ridding everything from your life. Keeping it simple is knowing what you want to create and letting everything else just be what it is. Because if you spend your time eliminating everything, it's like trying to eliminate a weakness. You'll spend all your time on that, but you'll not enjoy the grace of your strengths, enjoy the grace of all these other opportunities during that timing window when you're trying to eliminate. You're not trying to eliminate. You just let things be what they are, and you'll outgrow those things. Even the problems, you'll outgrow them. If your day's full of problems, okay, they're full of problems. But you give life to what you seek to create. Even if you couldn't get to everything you wanted to create, you still focus downrange on what you want to create. You don't compromise. This doesn't mean you power through it or you have to will your power or you have to conjure up or muster up your personal strength. You don't need all of that. Even if you don't feel like it, creating is not about how you feel. You focus on your creations, not your feelings. Your power, your focus, your thrust, your urge is outward. It's not inward. You're not in reference to yourself. You're not in reference to how you're feeling. You're not in reference to what's going on internally. In the arts, you don't focus on yourself. You focus on creations you seek to create. And over time, as you create more creations, you begin to develop this habit of creating. It's a method for achievement. So what is your morning ritual? How do you get into the morning? How do you position yourself in a creative orientation? Write down and sketch out what your morning ritual will be. Write down the end result that you'd like that morning ritual to serve. The process is not the end result, and the end result is not the process. You have both. You write down the end result that you choose to produce, and then the process that supports that. And then you begin to take action in service to what you want to create. So focus on the first 90 minutes of the day. Think it through. Take at least 15 minutes to 20 minutes to write down your daily 6. Identify how much time you want to spend on each of those items. And then add it up. What's the total amount of time? And then prioritize your day with the thing you're most reluctant to do first. And then execute. And if you've got a logjam of stuff, if you've got stuff that's waiting at your door, that's undermining, outlawing, and ambushing your ability to move forward, then structure an entire cleanup day, because you'll get more done out of a single day than you will a little here, a little there over 10 days. Just the law of immersion. And if you do that, then take everything out of your brain. Do a brain dump of everything that's on demand of you right now. All the things that you're forgetting, the initiatives, brain dump it, collect it, look at what it is. Get some control back. And then go through each one with a thought process. What outcome am I committed to with this item? And what's my next step? And then decide on the route that you want to send it to. Process it. Do I delete this? Can I afford to throw this away? Sometimes you can delegate things by negation. You don't need to really be doing it. You're just worked up about it. You're worried about it. But if you just let it go, it's not important. Take an honest inventory. Can I delegate this? Can I do this within 2 minutes? If I can, do it. Otherwise, plan it, put it in my calendar, but get it time activated so I can count on myself, trust myself with a system. Or maybe I'm going to deliberately delay it. I'm not going to do this right now. That garage that's been really on my mind, following me around, it's been sort of polluting my conscience. I'm just going to let go of the idea of doing it. I'll do it next 90 days. Great decision. It's not on your to-do list anymore. Fabulous. Or maybe there's a person around you that you're not depending on as much as you could. They have a unique ability or a personal gift to do something. Why don't you ask for help? Let the people know how to please you. Step it up. Or can you do this yourself? Is it within your skill set? Is it within something you enjoy doing? Does it serve an outcome that you want to create? Truly, what's the next step? Time activated in your day. Or can I afford to throw this away? Yes, get it out of there. Delete it. Done. Take it off your list. Great way to delegate is don't do it at all. Or can I automate this? Can I create a system for it? But do something about it. Make a decision. And then where am I going to get it done? Or where is this person going to get it done? And when are they going to get it done by? So you've gone through the thought process of controlling your stuff. To be ready more for anything today means you've got to occupy your mind with this kind of space making to get things squared away so you've gotten your thoughts through. You've thought about it. Okay, so 2 things you've learned in the Mach Zero show today that you can implement. You can start on the evening ritual and plan, or you can start working on the morning ritual, or both. I recommend you start on one thing, one incremental shift that you can change your habits and then build momentum. If you'd like more help or coaching, you can call us at highlevelperformance.com. Go to the email vipcoach@highlevelperformance.com. We are online at highlevelperformance.com, 714-375-6624. That's 714-375-6624 or 714-912-9261. This is the Mach Zero Show, making time for life, one thing at a time. This is Coach JD. Thank you for listening. We'll see you soon.
For more tools, go to highlevelperformance.com. Better business, better life. Fast growth, keeping things simple. Or visit us on Facebook. Mach Zero, making time for life, one thing at a time. Set boundaries, focus your attention, and maintain a positive state of mind. Hire a VIP coach to help you. Call 714-912-9261.